Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great week. Now you're probably expecting a video on this big purple turd, as it's been known at the minute. But there's a lot happened in the last sort of week and a half, which we've got a full video on explaining what has happened. There's now some big holes in the bus, good holes, but there'll be a full video next week explaining what has happened and why we're in that situation. But what has become very apparent is we've got a lot of new followers on YouTube, and we're really thankful for that. So if you've not liked and subscribed, like and subscribe, because it's given us so much motivation to film more for you and show you more. But a lot of you don't already realise, although we're converting this bus, we already live on a bus. And people don't seem to realise this. Say, oh, where are you going to park that? How are you going to do this? What are you going to do that? It's not safe. Well, we've been living on the green bus here for over 2 years now, full time. So today we're going to go through some questions, some costings, and we'll show you exactly how we make this work for our family. So let's get going. So this bus is a 1978 Daimler Fleetline with a Gardner 6 LXB, which hasn't got a turbo. That saves us a bit of money on fuel. Now this bus was new to West Yorkshire PT in 1978, and it lived a short life with them, moving between the different areas that they operated in, where after that it went to Wirral Council, and it was used as an exhibition bus, so it did all sorts of different arts exhibitions and stuff. And I'll put a photo in here somewhere showing what it looked like. It used to be black with lots of big posters on it. Now we got this bus in September 21, and we went to basically put some beds in it and make it into sort of like a weekend camper. We were renting at the time. Cost of living crisis was happening, COVID was happening, it was all going off, and I couldn't stand being in the same place for more than 1 week, because that's just what I'm like. I think me and Nicole have been together at this time about 9 years, 10 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, wasn't it? And we'd lived in like 8 houses of flats, so being able to move was a big thing for us as a family. Now when we got this, it hadn't been renovated since the 90s, so it was all very old fashioned, so we got all ripped out, a bit like what we're doing with the purple bus. But obviously this was done within a year and 1 month, and we learnt a lot along the way, made a lot of mistakes and things that we'll do differently this time. But it's home, it works for us, it keeps the cost down. We're going to go through the cost later and we'll show you the comparison between living in a bus and living in a house. So yeah, this is the bus that we currently live in. So sat down here in sort of our chill space. The bus has got everything we need that you have in a normal house. So we've got a kitchen, got the air fryer, the gas hob, we've got a microwave, we've got a kettle, all that normal stuff. We've got a double bedroom upstairs, kids have got their own bunks, and then downstairs is the bathroom and our sort of living area. I'm going to put a TikTok tour in here. And you'll be able to see exactly what the bus looks like inside. Now we're going to go through some of the costings. Phoebe's worked them all out for us, so let's see what we've got. So we've split this down as best as possible. Now we've watched in a few videos where people have done their costings for living in vans and buses and whatnot. Well, actually, I've not seen anyone do it for a bus. I've seen them for lots of vans, but not for buses. But we've not included like our fuel bill, our entertainment bill, because that's going to be different for everyone. So I've split this down in house versus bus. So the first one we've got is rent or mortgage. We were renting. Our rent was $7.50 a month. The bus has no rent on it. It's paid for. There's nothing to pay in terms of rent or mortgage. Next up, we've got utilities. So in utilities, we've put gas, water, electric, and fuel. Now in the house, Everything was gas, water and electric. So we didn't have a fuel there. There wasn't like any extra fuel burners. Bills in the house, that was £200, but on the bus it's £350, but that includes our fuel bill for a month as well. So all the bits of moving around that we do in any given month. Now that does flex from time to time depending where we're going. Normally in the summer we use less electricity on the generator, running the generator, so it saves fuel there, but we go to a lot more festivals, so the mileage is slightly higher. But on average over the year it's about £350. So at the minute it's normally £350, so at the minute it's a bit even. No, I've ruined that. So our utilities bills for the bus is £350. Next up, we've got tax. So in the house, we actually paid council tax, which was £150 a month in Rotherham. On the bus, it's tax exempt. We don't pay tax for this vehicle because it is over 40 years old. So it's a nice little bonus on that side of things. Next up, we have got... I can't even read my own writing. What's that one they call? Maintenance. Obviously, in a rented house, we just ran the landlord and he got bits and bobs sorted that came adrift. The only sort of things we had was like cutting the grass, getting the windows cleaned. So I've put down as £10 a month. On the bus, obviously, we are MOT exempt, but we still get it looked over. And there's always bits and bobs that need doing. Today I've been fixing the generator, ripping that out, starting the starter motor out. So we put 50 quid aside each month to allow for these sort of things that we might need, like oils, lubricants, bits and bobs that you need, tyres that soon need doing again. So there's a little pot of money that we have to one side to allow us to have that. Insurance. So on the house, we had £35 contents insurance. On the bus, it's £113 a month. That includes our contents, living insurance, and our breakdown cover. And obviously, insurance for the road. So let me work out these grand totals, and we'll work out which one works out cheaper for us. I just had to get a calculator out because I'm not very good at adding up. The house comes in at £1,135, and living on the bus comes in at £543 a month. Now that is only for sort of the bills that we were paying in the house and living in the bus. We do have Netflix subscriptions, phone bills, internet to pay for, but in terms of powering the bus, living in the bus, compared to living to a house and powering the house up and living in the house, that is the main cost that I feel needs to be demonstrated. Like if I put on my food bill is probably the same as it was in the house. My Netflix bill is the same as it is in the house. My internet's slightly less, but then I use more of it and I've got a bigger phone contract now. So it's give or take, but for the core values of what it costs to live on a bus, that is the number. So the bus works out about half the cost of living in a house. Or, as Nicole says, to have a roof over our head. So, the biggest question we always get asked is, how do we park a bus and not pay for park-ups? Now, I see van lifers, any lifers, saying they struggle for park-ups. We don't always get to the nicest of places. We don't get down them tight, narrow streets. But in 2 years, we've never once been moved on. We've never struggled to find a park-up. We just have to think outside the box. The only way I can describe this, and that's how I describe it to everyone, is when you first pass your test and you're driving a Nissan Micra or Corsa and you go to Asda for the first time and you struggle to park the car because you think, oh, it's really big and the space is really small. It's the same with your vehicle. You get used to the size of it. I'm used to driving vehicles of this size, so as I'm driving down the road, I know I can get the bus in certain spaces where people think they can't get the car. I like a challenge, but it's just all the mindset of doing something on a bigger scale. They're not always the nicest park-ups, but the park-ups that we have found have been brilliant. They're nice and quiet, we get no trouble, and we meet some lovely people on the way, so it can be done. You just don't always necessarily get down the little hills and the little laybys. You can do, you just get stuck.
Or by the sea.
We get by the sea all the time.
Or
yeah.
where everyone seems to park.
It's all in the pre-planning, so we do a lot of Google Earthing and seeing where we can get the bus as we go. And sometimes we can't, but you know, we'll always find somewhere to go. And you find some great places when you park further out and you're not central, find places you're going in. So the next biggest question we get is, what is our overall fuel cost? Now, I know we've done it in our overall sort of costings, but on average, the bus does 15 miles to the gallon, between 14 and 15 miles to the gallon on a good run. I don't think that's bad for carrying around 14 tonne of bus and all our stuff. Wherever I go, everything we own is there. So if I've not got something, I don't own it, which is great when we go away with the kids, because if they're hungry, we come back and eat on the bus, go to a local butcher's, get some fruit and veg, and we can cook anything we want in the bus, which is great. If they haven't got it, we don't own it, so it's no biggie if we have to buy it. But in terms of the fuel, you don't. I see some YouTubers, and I don't mean this in a negative way because I love watching everyone's content, but they'll run from Scarborough down to Land's End to do one stop. And that's not how we do it in BusLife, for us anyway. So say I was going from Rotherham to Scarborough, I'd stop off at Brid for a day, then stop off at Filey, then stop off at Scarborough and take a couple of days to get there. So you're visiting a lot of places but doing it in small chunks. It's not for everyone, I get that, but that's just how we would do it. So for example, when we go to Fan Life Festival down in Shrewsbury, we set off a day before and we stop halfway down, and we stopped last year in 2 different places. This year we stopped on the M6 toll because I've never stopped in a service station overnight before, and I loved it. It was great talking to all the truckers and seeing everyone coming in and going. It was an interesting experience. I wouldn't do it again, but it was interesting to see at the time. So although the fuel bill is bigger than probably a van, it's not terrible. We had a Ford Ranger that only did like 17 to 18 miles to the gallon, and it's quarter, 1/8 of the size of a bus. So it's miles per mile. I know it's cheesy as anything, cliche, but it generally is. I don't mind driving the bus somewhere. It's great. So the next question we get asked all the time is, do the kids still go to school? Yes, they do. A couple of reasons why. One, we tried it during COVID to homeschool, never ever again. Nicole works in a school, so she doesn't want to be working at school and homeschooling at the same time. Secondly, we've got Luna and Poppy that have got additional needs, and they get a lot of support from school, which we want to make sure they get the right setup in life, because although they enjoy this life now, we don't want to jeopardise their future, what they might want to do. Although Phoebe wants to live in a van when she goes to uni already, it's important that they get the education they need. So we've got a van that follows round. So when I'm driving the bus and we're moving to a park up, Nicole follows in the van, and then that will take us into school and to work the next day. So we don't use the bus for the school run, although sometimes I do. What are we going to do with this bus when we move on to the other bus? That's another good question we always get asked. Now, what we're going to do is, this bus will go into storage. We're currently filming this at the bus shed where we're converting the bus at the White Rose Bus Group, and we're just filming it outside before we move on for the night. But we'll be keeping this bus, and this will be stored with the group when we're out in that one. If we have any issues in that one when we break down, we can come back to this one and not be without a home. Because at the minute, if we break down and we have to go in the garage for work, it's to the travel lodge, which comes into the sort of that 50 quid a month that we use for maintenance. Sometimes it needs a bit of a top up. One thing we always get is, in the middle of winter, it must be absolutely freezing. Now, it's about 5 degrees outside, it's blowing absolute gale. I'm in shorts and t-shirt, or I'm in trousers and t-shirt. Phoebe's in a vest top behind me. It's about 24 degrees in there. I'm absolutely sweating. It's boiling. So with a diesel heater running, it just keeps nice and toasty. Yes, it gets cold quickly when we turn the diesel heater off, but we've got enough power in the bus to keep that running all night, and it doesn't cost us over amounts. And that's included in our utilities bill that we cost up earlier. So I hope that answers a couple of questions you might have about that bus and how we currently already done this. How we've already done this now for over 2 years, and we love it. And that's why we're here building this one, this massive purple thing. Now we've gone with a coach. The bus only does 45 miles an hour. The coach will do 65 or 62 on the limiter. So it just gives a bit more comfort, a bit more speed to go further afield. The kids are getting bigger, and as much as I know when you see some van lifers, they get 4 kids in a Sprinter. Got nothing against it, but I want my kids to have space that they want to be able to do their own thing. They're very close in age, which is great. They're all girls, which is great. But again, they need their own space. Phoebe's going to secondary school next year, and I don't want her to have to be sharing a bedroom with her 3 little siblings. They can be a pain in the bum sometimes when she's at secondary school. So that is why we're building this thing. It's an extra 15 foot long than the Fleet line. It's got bigger kitchen, it'll have a bigger living area, and the kids will have their own bedroom as well. And that's why we're building it and doing it all again. I said I never would, but here we are 2 and a bit years later doing it again. This will be the last one. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you come back next week, because I'll show you now quickly, you might be able to see a bit. I'll explain to you why that massive hole is in the bus. But yeah, have a great one. See you on the next one, and thank you for watching.